welcome everybody. Let's start with a short arrival practice again. So, as always, feel free to close your eyes for this if you feel comfortable. You can also leave them open and just lower your gaze a little bit. Now let's take a couple deep breaths together, deep into your abdomen and out through your mouth. You can even sigh a little bit if you're in a place where that's appropriate. And get a sense of who you are this morning or afternoon or evening. What's happening for you right now? Where is your attention going? Where do you feel your energy? So often we think meditation is to be in a certain state. And let's start with just noticing where we're actually at right now. Just noticing what comes to your awareness. If it's anything like mine, it's jumping and skipping and hopping around between a million different things. And that's all right. Just notice, no management required. I'll get a sense of your body, your feet on the ground, your thighs and back against the chair if you're sitting. And anything inside your body, any sensations, whether that's tension or warm, cold, itchy, just noticing. Become aware of any sounds you're hearing. My voice, obviously, but maybe other things. And also check if there is any particular emotional tone to this moment for you. Now, take a moment to look at yourself, the you that is aware of this constantly changing display. Get a sense of your own awareness. The same awareness that's aware of sensations, pleasant or unpleasant, any sort of emotion, positive, neutral, or negative, like a mirror reflecting everything impartially without being affected by any of the reflections. This essence of your being is like an inner place of refuge that is always available, one short moment at a time. Whenever we whenever we look, it's already present. There's no moment where we're not aware. And in turning awareness towards itself for a moment, we can relax the grip, the hold, the management of thoughts, emotions, and sensations for that moment. All right. Slowly come back here to the shiny faces on the screen. So, what we thought for today is start with a brief recap of the introductory training. We have prepared some slides for that. And then we also wanted to take some time to speak about the 12 empowerments, which would be the follow up of the introductory training for those who would like to continue. Good. So I hope everybody who's here today had a chance to go through the introductory training, and in which case you'll also have seen our commentary on all the slides in the introductory training. So we just want to, at this time, briefly go over the essence of the introduction. And one term that you have heard and will hear many times is open intelligence. Open intelligence is something about us that is always stable and clear. We use this analogy, the metaphor of the crystal ball that is unaffected by whatever images appear. The nature of mind, open intelligence, remains lucid and clear, regardless of the data, the thoughts, emotions, sensations that arise within it. So when we speak about the true nature of mind, we are referring to this unaffected, indestructible essence of our being. That is, as we also just went through in the guided meditation, that is always already present. It's innate to us. It's known in all cultures and by different names. You may have heard, if you're into Buddhism, you probably heard the term Buddha nature, and in any other culture or tradition, there are terms for that because it's a deeply human or beyond a universal fact of our existence. And so here we start in the introduction with the introductory training to the introduction to open intelligence, so we can get a felt direct experience of what that is. And then there are two approaches of how we use the mind. I just shared about the nature of mind, and the approaches of the mind that we use in everyday life is the first one is where we focus basically every moment of life, and that's the approach that we have learned, we focus on our thoughts, emotions, sensations, and other experiences. And it's usually so so common. We don't even notice that that's what's happening. We just go with our attention, with our awareness, completely um, focused and absorbed in one thought, emotion, sensation at a time. And we just hop like a frog from one lily pad to another, never recognizing anything but that. It's the entire reality that we know. And with the introduction to open intelligence, we have this second approach that becomes available to us, which is that we allow the mind to rest in its natural state, open intelligence. And so that's the choice. I just go back to this slide for a moment. That's the choice we have in every moment. We can either describe all the thoughts, emotions, sensations, experiences, or we can allow the mind to rest in its natural state. When we rely on open intelligence, I hope you all had a sense of that, maybe more than a few times already by now, if you've been practicing for a bit. When we rely on open intelligence, rather than emphasizing our thoughts and emotions, we have a vaster view and experience the soothing energy and clarity of open intelligence. It's like that view from the mountaintop that this woman here is seeing, where we can see so much all at once, rather than being in the valley where all we see is the immediate surrounding. And let's see, I think the next are the questions, Kati. Do you want to guide us through those, or anything else about the introductory training you want to share first?
No, perfect. Thank you. Okay, yes. Thank you. So the introduction to open intelligence, once we had that, recognizing open intelligence comes along with short moments of open intelligence. And here are these questions that support making that now more obvious in our daily life. So we thought maybe some of you have responded to these questions, and like the first one here, what is the most important choice I will make in life? And we'll also pause the recording maybe here so everyone can feel free to respond. Is there anyone who would like to respond here?
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kati. So we'll continue with the recording again here also for this part. So one simple change. As we keep saying, it's really simple, actually, like one simple change in the use of the mind, but it's not always easy. And that's why we have the 4 mainstays that you've also probably heard us talk about. So the short moments practice that we can access open intelligence every time we remember. It's a practice that can be embedded into the walk of life. We don't need to be in a special place or have special kinds of circumstances. We can just practice that whether we're running, walking, working, talking with somebody, anytime at all. So it's complete integration into daily life. The teachings, the introductory training or the other teachings we're offering, trainers who you can ask questions. We all trainers also have trainers, and so there is a beautiful support available to ask and to check in, and to also receive, I guess in my experience, often the encouragement and the confirmation that all is well. It's okay. Just keep practicing. And just that is really so precious, to have people around us. That also is like the community, the 4th mainstay, where so many places and relationships in life are confirming like the old way of looking at ourselves and looking at our data. So to have people around us who confirm our true nature, who always see our true nature, regardless of what we see in ourselves, they'll always see us as open intelligence, is really powerful. So the four mainstays together are also what is at the heart of the 12 empowerments, which we wanted to talk about a bit here. 12-part training with access to the community and a personal trainer. And we broke it down to share a bit about the first three empowerments first, which are like the foundation in which we understand the root cause of suffering. And some of your answers already pointed to that, really, that we often think that any painful circumstance automatically leads to suffering, but there is actually a way to experience all of life, including painful experiences, without suffering. So that's part of empowerment 1 to 3. We recognize our true nature and our built-in capacity to be of benefit with our talents. We learn a simple yet powerful practice, short moments, that makes freedom from suffering our own direct experience. So that's also part of why we really give that space in empowerments 1 to 3 is so that open intelligence is not becoming like a concept or, you know, a great idea or a theory for us, but that we can have the direct experience in one short moment at a time. This is what open intelligence is. The I that is experiencing all of the data, that is open intelligence. It just is that I've never recognized who I really am. And in a short moment, I recognize that and I rest there. I rest as open intelligence. And then we apply this practice moment to moment in daily life. So the first three empowerments build this strong foundation on which we can then continue with the next ones. We have a few more slides here for these empowerments. I don't, Kati, do you want to speak a little about those or?
Yeah, rest the mind naturally without describing anything, without seeking anything, just rest naturally. Yeah, it's powerful just to read that, and which is the power of a short moment that we use our mind to rest naturally, letting data be as they are, letting all these thoughts and emotions rest as open intelligence rather than describing them. And also we're not seeking a certain way of thinking or a certain way of feeling. It's we allow everything to be as it is for a brief moment. That's a short moment. An open intelligence is within us. It is not something we have to get from outside. So that confidence grows naturally as well. Going through the empowerments is a very much effortless way of gaining confidence in open intelligence. It just guides you through it step by step. Each empowerment builds upon the other one, and recognizing that open intelligence is within us, we actually don't have to get anything. Yet it is an effort to go through the empowerments. Let's put it like that, in an effort, in a way that we go through the text and the videos and the questions. But then it's made in a way that it'll come about in an effortless way, that we recognize open intelligence and that we can count on open intelligence in every moment. Even though open intelligence is innate, we have to acknowledge it because it has gone unnoticed. So in a very practical way, just by focusing on all our emotions and sensations and describing them, it went unnoticed. So now we'll make it more and more obvious by going through this process or simply by taking short moments. Yeah, like these short moments of open intelligence, and they can be really short, like maybe not even knowing am I taking a short moment? There's still so many thoughts and emotions, and sometimes we remember a short moment, we remember how it is a reset button, that it's like refresh, or we stop thinking for a moment. It's not about stopping thinking, but sometimes it's that introduction empowers, like giving us the space to recognize that clarity, openness, spaciousness in that moment. Obviously, we have so many thoughts, and it's not about not thinking. That's why these short moments, we just take them even if we don't notice anything. The key is whenever you remember. And the empowerments 1, 2, 3 really support us in a very natural way to take a short moment. That's it. And the questions support recognizing how we actually used our mind and didn't recognize open intelligence. That's also powerful as well. Great. So then once that foundation is present, and obviously we keep continuing taking short moments of open intelligence, but empowerments 4 and 9 is more we examine belief systems, habitual patterns that have impacted all our areas of life. So there will be, with the questions, you are guided through your life, basically. So the thoughts, emotions, experiences, or belief systems that we have that may limit us or keep us engaged in the descriptions of data, especially in relationships. We look at things that have played out in relationships and any decision making in life, how the data have just brought us where we are, and how they affected maybe certain situations, areas of life. So by listing that all, it becomes, and going through the process, we integrate the powerful practice into all these areas of life, and practical suggestions to empower ourselves to find greater wholeness and harmonize challenging relationships. So that's the entire process of 4 to 9, where it harmonizes relationship, and especially the relationship with oneself and our thoughts and emotions, because we always want to change ourselves. Something needs to change. I don't know if you have that experience, but something we want to be different. And either we don't want certain thoughts and emotions, or we don't, basically that, or we don't want to be what we describe ourselves to be, or what others describe about ourselves. So it is really empowering that relationship with ourselves, and coming into a love relationship. Ultimately, we make this process the new default setting for being in the world. We're basically recognizing open intelligence, making our open intelligence the default setting, and which is already the case, but making that obvious. Maybe Jochen, you would like to take.
Sure. Data communicate who we think we are to others and our sense of self. Often we may have allowed fear and anxiety or other belief systems to stop us from a beneficial empowerment and harmony of relationship, giving disturbing emotions an immense influence in our life and relationships. So in empowerment 4 to 9, we really, instead of just this like overarching understanding of, yes, open intelligence is everything, all data are open intelligence, we look very specifically into our own belief systems and into particularly the relationships that have been challenging in our life. And I often speak about the relationship with my parents, my mother in particular, where I've done so much like therapy and coaching, and I I was good at managing the relationship, but there still felt to be like the entire baggage of data was still there. I was just better, more efficient in managing it. And going through the empowerments has really lifted the entire burden of this from this relationship. And I started to have a really open-hearted relationship in which I still could do all the things that were good to do, like drawing boundaries or, deciding um, freely on how much time to spend or what to do, but not from a place of fear and anxiety and other belief systems, but simply from the flow and insight and the warmth of open intelligence. So there's so much freedom in these relationships that have troubled me for all my life, basically, or for a lot of my life, um, where that sting that they had, that that bite, it just released, and there is a spontaneous way of being in full relationship. And of course, like Kati mentioned, the most important relationship that we have related to in this way is with ourselves. Like often we are our harshest critic. Um, most of my negative thoughts have probably been around myself, that I'm not good enough. And that then comes in also to the practice. I'm not practicing enough. I'm not a good rester. All of these things are bound to come up because they're otherwise anyway there, just under the surface somewhere. So in Empowerments 4 to 9, we bring them up so that we can truly illuminate them with the light of open intelligence, and recognize them for what they really are, and recognize ourselves for who we really are. And with that recognition, the fear and anxiety are transformed. The confusion becomes outshone in clarity of, this is the actual cause of suffering here. It's not that I feel fear. It's what I do when the fear arises. It's not that I have negative feelings towards a person. It's what I do with those feelings. By the power of relying on open intelligence, we gradually stop avoiding relationships, including our own talents, as a means to lessen anxiety or fear. So instead of controlling relationships, including the relationship with ourselves or different aspects or parts of ourselves, thoughts, emotions, we can let them flow, and in that not avoid them anymore, because that fear is no longer there. Or even if it is there, it's no longer powerful enough to stop us. And in facing these aspects of life, we recognize the fearlessness that we have that is innate to us. Even if fear arises, we can be fearless. That's what courage is. We do it anyway. And we can do it not from like managing and pulling ourselves together, but with complete openness, because you recognize our indestructible nature. Face everything and avoid nothing. Face everything as it is, the beneficial energy of open intelligence that is entirely beneficial by nature. Freedom in immediate perception, and the complete perceptual openness in all experience. This is the ultimate well-being in each moment we're looking for. And that's really what we come to see in Empowerments 4 to 9, is that's all we ever wanted. With all our effort of managing, controlling, avoiding, replacing, all of these strategies, ultimately, what we really wanted was to be well, to feel well. And that's what we find in open intelligence. And so all this energy that was used in managing ourselves and managing the relationships, all that energy is freed up. And then in Empowerments 10 through 12, we're expanding that freedom, that recognition, that empowerment into all daily activities of life. There will be also a simple overview or like a process of how the first 9 empowerments can be activated in like a split moment. And through that, we really integrate the teaching into every aspect of life. We allow our qualities and activities to be spontaneously informed by our innate power to be of benefit. We get to know our specific strengths, gifts, and talents and empower those with the short moments practice. We further integrate the ease of being into all aspects of living, working, and relating. We enjoy a lifestyle that is aligned with our true identity and have increasing assurance in our innate basic goodness. We have a couple more slides maybe that I think are the perfect commentary on that. Kati, do you want to continue a bit from here?
Right. So, yeah, in open intelligence, degrading and diminishing aspects of data are cleared up, and very powerful energy is released. The powerful energy of beneficial qualities and activities. So, in this short moments practice, it becomes more and more clear how open intelligence is naturally beneficial, and how we see that also in ourselves as just who we are, that we are naturally beneficial. Nothing to think about, but that is what comes out like naturally. I thought maybe we could also see if there are any questions along the way, maybe, but I'll read from this one here. All flows from open intelligence. To leave afflictive states unrejected means to just leave them as they are without the need to do anything about them, without the need to explore them any further or stop them or anything at all. So that becomes obvious in a short moment that we don't need to actually manage ourselves anymore. We can, and that really releases a lot of energy. In this process, afflictive states become friendlier till they seem like friends, and they realize to be self-releasing, so they don't pose such a threat anymore. That was a relief for myself, not to be afraid of myself and my thoughts and emotions, even if they're relentless or really strong and intense. They are our own potency, like that energy of open intelligence. Anything at all comes more and more our beneficial potency. So it doesn't mean you just ignore the world and everything going on in it. With great discernment, you can still see exactly what's going on, and you can name it and clarify it. The afflictive states lead to open intelligence, and then resting significantly in that state leads to the inexhaustible beneficial energy and power that has been here all along. Maybe we'll pause for here for now, so we could have some more shares and questions.
That's good. Should we already look into the next slides about the empowerments, or
Yeah,
so we can
maybe we
have
could
questions
see
on
if,
that as well? Or first questions? Okay. I can pause the.
there's see if there are any questions.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
I'm a little confused on what data is. The thoughts part, the emotions part, and the tangling between those, I understand. I'm not sure what you mean by there's a third element of sensations that you always mention. And I'm wondering, well, the word sensation can mean a couple of different things. One is just body sensation, proprioception, or that kind of stuff. Or in my mind, it can refer to all your five senses or how many you think there are, sight, touch, body sensation, blah, blah, blah. So can you clean that up for me a little bit or enlighten me on that?
Right, great. About data, we take one term to basically mean everything, all the different kinds of sensations, all the thoughts, all the emotions, everything we can see, touch, feel, everything we can describe. Any experience is data. Keeps it simple and has a power to, even though we can describe it all, and that's okay, but that's all data. Did that clarify it?
I know.
Yes. So
excuse me.
of course.
Because there's the open intelligence. There was another phrase used in these presentation slide presentations, and it was maybe it was open perception, and like that's good, you know. I don't know. There's just I'm confused about this. Basically, I don't even know what question to ask. Well, like, okay, so I'm just dropping into being present or whatever you want to call it, and trying to observe it and talk at the same time.
I think the distinction that you might be looking for, Bill, is maybe, I don't know, but it could be that in complete perceptual openness, perception remains open and spacious. So we're not really trying to focus or be with or accept anything. All of these mean that we still like hold to one, like a thought or emotion or even a sense perception, or, you know, like if you observe our breath, that still means that we tighten the attention or awareness on this one thing at a time. Which we can do. That's great attention training, but that's not open intelligence practice. The open intelligence practice means we rest as the awareness that is at the basis of whether we have a thought or an emotion or any of the other sensory perceptions. And in Tibetan psychology, the mind is just like the sixth sense, so to speak. They have six senses, not five like we do.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter whether you are thinking or using any of the other senses. The point is, in whatever sensation or perception arises, we allow the mind to rest in its natural state of complete openness. And in that openness, there is a responsiveness that naturally responds to whatever occurs. So we don't need to constantly think and manage our experience and our reactions to the world, basically. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did that go into a direction of what you were wondering about?
Well, let me say this back to you and see if it did. But when I'm in that state, or I call it a state, or whatever. But anyway, I'm not steering anymore. I don't have to do anything. Awareness is just taken care of by some, I don't know what it is, deeper part of my brain or blah, blah, blah. But I don't have to fiddle around and try and steer. It's like it's like riding a bicycle with no hands. You don't have to steer, and yet it's just taken care of by something that's not me, at least me in the egoic sense. Does this relate to what you said? It's
Yes,
another way of saying
exactly.
it, or
Yes.
it is. Oh, okay.
And you know, I think the last thing that you said there jokingly is exactly the point. You begin to recognize that's something that I still remember to this day as I was in Empowerments 4 and 5. I thought, oh my God, that's it. That's like that me that I always thought is doing all this other stuff. It's the same me. It's just it's open intelligence that either focuses on the data or relaxes into its own true nature. That's me. Both are me. And that recognition is so powerful because we see that even if we don't recognize open intelligence, I am still open intelligence. It's just that for a day I've been like sleepwalking and I forgot to acknowledge who I actually am. But every time I remember, it's me remembering myself. It's not me remembering open intelligence and then I need to go over there and no longer do the other things. It's just recognizing, and for however long this recognition lasts, that management weight that we've put on ourselves, it just drops away. We can still think, we can still make plans, we can analyze. All of these things are possible, maybe initially harder while resting because it seems like different. But very quickly I found that there was, even in thinking, there can be such spaciousness. And it's immediately obvious when we're in that constricted way of thinking of ourselves and the world compared to that spaciousness. And that's really what, when we speak about empowerments 4 to 9, where exactly those things that are so compelling that we're immediately going back to our old way of thinking about ourselves and managing, that's where empowerments 4 to 9 are so powerful, to really examine what actually is going on there in that split moment. What's really going on there? Why is that so difficult? And how can I bring the ease and spaciousness of open intelligence into that?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Katya, I
Oh,
see it's 3 to 10.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, when I fall into this place, it's magical. I mean, it cuts whatever bullshit I was doing in my mind instantaneously, some small fraction of a second, or can, and makes me feel good, blissful, happy, whatever, and all that. It's really magical. But I think I need to be applying this now in this middle section of your 12. That's probably where I need to be doing, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll shut up.
Great. It
Thank you for
becomes
sharing.
that's great. It becomes obvious. Yeah, I see the time too. We want to start with going through the empowerments here, but obviously with a short version of it. But if you're interested, and some are going to go through the empowerments, they are online, then we'll start with empowerment 1 next week. And for that, you can be in touch with us if you would like to go through them online. And with this meetup flow, everyone who's not going through them specifically can also join here. And some are actually just finishing them here. So empowerment 10, 11, 12. So the mix is powerful to hear those who have gone before, and to actually, while going through it, with some who are going through it and some just being new to it. So this is the purpose of this kind of meeting. But yeah, so during this week, there's an opportunity to just jump into empowerment 1, and you can be in touch with us, right?
Katya, I'll post the link there in the chat. It's going to somehow, it ended up being a really long link. I don't know why that is. I think because it's from the newsletter, but that's where you can book a call if you want to learn more about the full 12 empowerments that will start this week. Click the link and find a time to speak with Kati and or me. Probably right? It won't be both of us usually on the call. It'll be one of us. That would be sweet, though. We could do it together. And then we'll also send a follow-up once I've had a chance to edit the video from today a little bit. We'll put that up and send that out to review. And then, yeah, we'd love to hear from you. And even if you decide not to go for the full version this time, we'd love to see you again for those meetups, and look forward to being in touch again.
Great.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you all. It was great to be together today.
Okay.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
everyone.
Have a good night or that morning.
Good night to you.